I'm Alan Johnson, KU2Y, and this video is an introduction to what to do with your CubeSatSim loaner. So when you receive your CubeSatSim loaner, it'll be in this protective case, and you can open it up and remove the first level of protection there. And you see the turntable and, of course, the CubeSatSim itself here. So I'm going to put it on the turntable here, and I'm going to look at the other things that are in here. So you'll find two nickel metal hydride 9-volt batteries. These are the only batteries that you should use with this. Do not use any other batteries. So I'll put that out here because we need to install it. You'll also find a little rubber duck antenna. So we can mount that on here. We can just screw that on, and that will be ready to go. Also, you'll find a DC power pack here, and I'm going to plug that in. And that plugs into the CubeSatSim here. It's a barrel connector, so we can plug it in there. Also find the remove before flight switch. So in order to charge, the CubeSatSim has to be off. So we insert the remove before flight to do that. Okay. Also, if you look in here, you will find the an RTL SDR dongle with an antenna. So you're going to plug this in and use it for your ground station. And finally, you'll see an LED lamp here. So this is going to be our artificial sun. And that way, when we have it rotating on the turntable, we'll be able to simulate the CubeSat spinning in space. Okay, so the first thing we want to do is to install the 9-volt battery. So I'm going to pop the top off here. There's a little tab here that can help you do that. It's just held in by friction. So we can pop that open, peel back the protective tape, and then find in here the connector, which is right here. And just double check the polarity before you plug it in. There we go. Put the battery inside and clip the top back on. Now, if you look inside, you should see some blinking lights indicating that the CubeSatSim is turning on. So I'm just going to have a glance in there, make sure everything looks good. Yep. Okay. So I'm going to share my screen now. All right, so all the steps here are on this wiki webpage. That's at alanbjohnson.com/CubeSatSim/wiki, and this is the loaner user guide. So all the different steps that we're going to do here are all listed here. Okay, so let's, one of the important steps here is to install the ground station software. So I'm going to assume that you've already done that. And if I bring up SDR Sharp, you see that the CubeSatSim is transmitting. And you might also see the LEDs blinking, the blue LED blinking there. So I have SDR Sharp here. I have the source set to RTL SDR. That's the dongle. I have it set to narrowband FM. I have squelch on just so that I don't hear all the noise. Also, under audio, make sure this filter audio is unchecked. That's important for receiving telemetry. Now, when you start this up, you might see it looking like this. So it's zoomed out, so we need to zoom in so we can see the signal. And I'm just going to center it here. There we go. I just dragged it so that it's centered, and I can also adjust the gain of the RTL SDR just to give myself a slightly stronger signal there. That's pretty good. Okay, so let's have a listen. You'll hear the AFSK 1200 bit per second telemetry. There you go. It's the sound of an old dial-up modem for the internet, if you remember that. So I'm just receiving it on my HT here. You can also hear it on your computer too. So let's see if we are decoding packets. So I'm going to bring up AFSK 1200 decoder. And sure enough, we are receiving packets. I'm just going to clear it here, just so you can see the packets as they come in. Oops, frequency shifted here. Let's try that. There we go. So it's from W3ZM, and it's the familiar high telemetry with all of the numbers. So this is AFSK telemetry mode. The CubeSatSim supports 4 different transmissions, and to switch, you either shut down and start up again, or just reboot. So to reboot, I'm just going to press and release the button here. So I'm just going to press that, and that will cause it to reboot. And when it comes up, it will be in the next mode, which is frequency shift keying data under voice, which is basically Fox emulation mode. So we'll get ready here to actually launch it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to unplug the charger here, and I'm going to unplug the remove before flight. I'm going to turn on the turntable here, so we begin rotating. So we have launched. Now we need Fox Telem in order to receive the FSK telemetry. So I have Fox Telem running on a Raspberry Pi. You can also run it on Windows and Mac as well. Okay, so that was the CWID. And again, I just need to tune this a little bit. So you hear that kind of rumbling sound? That's what the data under voice sounds like. It's a very low frequency binary signal. So that's what it sounds like. And if we look at Fox Telem here, I'm running it in FSK DUV. And you see I have a nice open eye diagram here and a nice digital waveform here. And I can pull up here. This is showing the various panel voltages. They're reading about 1 volt, which is just the ambient light in this room. But if our CubeSat comes into the sun, so it's no longer under illumination, we should see those voltages increase as the LED lamp activates the solar panels. And there we go. Now we're starting to see 3 volts from that. So you can use this LED in any room just to activate the solar panels. But if you take the CubeSatSim outside, that's when you're going to see real voltage and current coming out of the solar panels. So I would encourage you to do that. Okay, so I'm going to change mode again here. So I'm going to press and release the button. And while we're waiting for that, I'm going to show you how you can see the telemetry here in Fox Telem. So if we click on the CubeSatSim FSK tab here, and look, we can see the data. So for example, the battery is 9.4 volts, so it's fully charged. On the last packet, it was drawing 114 milliamps. The PSU, which is the power supply for the CubeSatSim for the Raspberry Pi, it was putting out 5.1 volts and 177 milliamps. And you can see various for the X panel, minus X panel. Let's see which one. Looks like at this instant, the minus X panel happened to be facing the LED lamp. That's why we got. Okay, that time we heard the the CWID. So this is binary phase shift keying telemetry. Kind of an ugly, noisy sound there. And if we have a look in FoxTelem, it is not decoding it because it's not set for BPSK here. It's set to FSK. So you see the eye diagram doesn't look good. So I'm going to hit stop and I'm going to change to BPSK and click start again. And now we see something that looks better. This phasor diagram should kind of be a line, and we see an opening in the eye diagram, and the digital waveform there looks good. And to see the data here, we look in the CubeSatSim BPSK tab there. Okay, so I'm going to reboot one more time here and switch to our final telemetry mode. Note that if you were actually going to decode the BPSK using SDR sharp, you would need to switch to USB upper sideband because it's not an FM signal. Okay, so the next mode is going to be slow scan TV. So I'm going to turn off the lamp and also stop rotating here. So this is not a telemetry signal, but it's a fun slow scan TV signal that sends a single image repeatedly, so you can practice decoding it. So I have SSTV here. You could use QSSTV, or if you have SSTV, if you have SSTV software on your phone, you can do that. All right, so that is the sound of SSTV, such as it's transmitted. You see it's PD120 format, and getting a decent signal here and decoding the image. Okay, so so the final thing we're just going to do here is to shut down the CubeSatSim. So to do that, I'm going to press and hold this button for between 3 and 5 seconds. Now I release it, and that will shut down the CubeSatSim. The LEDs will go off, and about 30 seconds later, it will be fully powered off. And of course, when you're not using it, it's a good idea to plug it back in to keep the battery fully charged. Okay, well, good luck with your loaner CubeSatSim.